Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that helps you become your best self. And today we are talking about, are you growing or getting in your own way? What a fixed mindset is versus growth mindset. But before we jump into that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on TikTok or Instagram. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo on both. I'd love to chat with you, say hi, become friends online. You can also sign up for my weekly newsletter that comes out every single Wednesday afternoon / early evening. There's a link for that down there. There's also a link for you to submit an anonymous topic suggestion for the podcast. There's also my email address. You can send me an email with any questions, comments, concerns, progress, feedback, topic suggestions, any and all of that to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. The awesomeness about the anonymous topic link, topic survey, is that it is truly anonymous. So if you don't want to let me know on social media or you don't want to let me know via email, you're welcome just to click that link, submit your idea, and then I will see it. But I won't know it's you if you feel uncomfortable. Totally fine. So check out all those links and everything I'm talking about in the show notes below. But let's go ahead and just jump right into the episode, again titled, Are You Growing or Getting in Your Own Way? Fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So, because of what I mentioned in the last episode, like the one that happened right before this, talking all about like how to manage stress in the moment. That's episode 414, I believe. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and check that out. But again, it's the episode right before this one. I am here to talk about cultivating a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So in the last episode, I mentioned how it can be difficult to shift our mindset when it comes to changing how we respond to experiences and situations, because I was talking about how people might feel like it's difficult when you're in a stressful situation for you to train yourself to stop and really consider what the best response and reaction would be to that situation for you to manage your stress in the best possible way. And I know a lot of people struggle with the idea that this can actually happen, which is why I brought up the idea of understanding the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So I just thought it'd be really important to bring that up. And I noticed that I haven't actually done an episode on it, which I think is bonkers to me. So I was like, it is high time to do one. And I mentioned that a lot of times we don't believe we can change, again, how we react and respond, because we fear stepping outside of our comfort zone, and unfortunately believe a lot of like negative opinions, judgments, and self-talk told to us by other people or ourselves, and believing we can't do something or become something different or better. Like we just like soak all of that up and believe that no change can happen, no shift can happen, nothing can get better. It is what it is kind of feeling, you know? And the truth is that you can change. You just have to change your mindset first, because once you're able to shift your mindset to be more on the growth side, it's not going to be a perfect like either or. We'll talk about that shortly. But if you're able to shift your mindset to be more of a growth mindset rather than a fixed, you will be able to, push yourself outside of your comfort zone, try new things, overcome fears, really live up that journey of becoming your best self, which is what we're all here to do. So just so you know, the whole idea behind this idea of fixed mindset and growth mindset is that your beliefs dictate your mindset. Now, really think about that. You're probably like, what are you talking about? Your beliefs, like the things that you believe, whether they're about yourself or about how life works, how you are able to accomplish goals, how you are able to make decisions or whatever. Your beliefs dictate your mindset, and which dictates your behaviors. So your belief dictates your mindset, and your mindset dictates your behaviors. So if your mindset is set that, oh, I'm like, a terrible person, then your behaviors are going to, represent the fact that You don't believe you can do anything because you are a terrible person. Or sometimes on the flip side, not often, but sometimes on the flip side, you're like, okay, well, I've been branded a terrible person. I'm just going to go be a terrible person. Let's not do that. Okay. Let's not lean into the negative things that people say, which is part of, shifting your mindset. So here's just something like that'll help you kind of understand it better. We are going to go into very specific ways for you to tell the difference between a growth and a fixed. At the end of that's going to be like the, tips section that I usually and steps section that I usually do. But here, just consider this for like a jumping off point of understanding. So if you don't believe you are still worthy after making a mistake, you will lack the desire to try again, or that you'll be looked down on. If you believe you will no longer be respected and accepted after going through a significant failure, you'll give up on everything else and not pursue your goals. If you believe when someone tells you you'll never be able to accomplish that goal or learn that new thing, you'll never actually try. And if you believe when someone tells you that you're not smart because you take too long to learn things, you'll probably internalize those feelings and tell yourself that every single time that you aren't perfect at something from the get-go. You'll tell yourself these limiting stories over and over with every experience you go through and never become the person that you're meant to be. So, in essence, you're truly missing out on being your best self. So, like, if you do, that was really just like a representation of if you have this fixed mindset, which all of those things, like believing that you're not worthy after making mistakes, or believing you can't be respected or accepted by others due to failure, or believing when someone tells you you can't do something and then being like, well, they said I can't do it, so I can't do it. I can't accomplish it. They don't believe in me, so obviously I can't. It's you're so fixed and so confined to this mindset that it is basically, has like a whole chokehold on your life, to be honest. It's like a very graphic way to think about it, but it's absolutely true. So when you have a fixed mindset, just to kind of go into this just a tiny bit deeper, you believe that you are stuck with the lot that you're given in regards to like abilities or how smart you are, how capable you are, and what you can achieve, right? You're like, okay, I have been given these things and that's it. We're done. It's like handing out like name tags, like this is your name. This is who you are. This is what you're capable of. We're done here. And, those with a fixed mindset also strive to look like they are just like super smart or as smart as everyone else, right? You can't be below that. And because you never want to let anyone think that you're dumb or stupid or uneducated. Absolutely not. You're like, no. I need to try my hardest despite these set things these set abilities and talents and knowledge that I have just been given from the get-go. No, I need to still convince people and put on this air that, and deny, and be like, hey, no, I'm just as smart as you, if not smarter. You need to accept me, it's fine. Which seems kind of ironic because it's like you believe that all you have is what you have, yet you feel like you need to put on this air, this like, performance for other people that, hey, I am just as smart as you. Even though they're not necessarily willing to try to figure out how to do that. But when you have a growth mindset, which is the mindset that we all really want to like spend most of our time lingering in, you understand that you can learn things over time and at any point in life. It's not like you just learn it in your childhood and then you're done, which also a fixed mindset can do. It's like, okay, well, you are taught things in childhood, you learn them, and that's it. Like, and you're just like out in the world, like, okay, well, whatever. Like, that's what we gave you. That's all you get. But yeah, so when you have a growth mindset, you understand that you can learn things over time and at any point in life, and all you have to do is the work. Like, all you have to do is the work if you want to continue to learn things and understand things. And you also know that you will. Like, it's not if, it's like when you will make mistakes and not everything will come easy to you, and that you don't need to impress anyone with how smart you are. Like, it's absolutely unnecessary. There's no need to put that air on that we were talking about in regards to fixed mindset. You don't need to pretend that you match up with someone else. Like, it's not needed. So it's the fixed mindset and the growth mindset I find so incredibly satisfying. Yeah, that too. I find it so incredibly interesting, and I have spent so much time like doing research on it and trying to find ways to share it online, because despite the fact that I feel like it kind of like got super popular and a lot of like several people do talk about it, I feel like it's not talked about enough. And I just wanted to throw this out here that if you'd like to learn more about the science behind both fixed and growth mindsets and, read some case studies, I would strongly recommend that you read the book by Carol Dweck, last name Dweck. She wrote a book called Mindset. It is so, so good. It's so good. It's easy to read, because you know how a lot of like psychological journals and books and things like that, they use like really big words and it feels like out of some people's leagues and just feels like too much and boring. But no, this book, it's not like an adventure, but it's interesting and it's easy to read and understand. So I would encourage you. She is like the number one researcher right now in regards to understanding fixed mindset versus growth mindset. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a place where I get a lot of my research and understanding on this topic. Anyway, check that out. But let's continue. So now it's important to understand that we can have both at times. I kind of like alluded to that earlier, that we're not necessarily one or the other. I feel like sometimes we can be like very heavily fixed mindset. And then maybe a lot of growth mindset with just a couple like fixed mindset things in there that need to be tweaked a little bit. There can be certain things we have more of a growth mindset towards because we have proven it to ourselves, and it's just other things where it's more fixed because we have had trouble with it or hold the burden of someone telling us we can't. So, a lot of times when we like, even if it's accidentally that we prove to ourselves that we're able to do something or continue to learn something or understand something or, achieve a goal or whatever, then we're like, oh, I did that. I didn't think I could do it and I did it. Maybe I can do it again. There's like a small little seed of hope and excitement and possibility of growth planted after that happens. With on the contrast, we can definitely have things where we're more fixed because people, again, have told us negative things that we can't do something, or we've gone through a struggle and it has been very difficult for us to continue to persevere and push through and pursue those things that we are trying to work towards. But, the problem with having a fixed mindset, which is obviously the more negative one, is that it will get in the way of learning things that will help you accomplish your ultimate goals and to also improve yourself in general and continue on your journey of becoming your best self, which is, like my whole thing, become your best self every single day. It's a daily journey that we take on every single day that we are here on this earth. And, a growth mindset will allow you to give yourself grace and not give up when there are struggles and setbacks that happen in the process of accomplishing your goals. And again, I don't want to sit here and like demonize the fact that like, yeah, if you're a fixed mindset, you're a terrible person and you have no hope in life. And if you're a growth mindset, you're great, you're awesome, you're happy, like everything is great. We definitely want to be, again, shifting more towards a growth mindset rather than a fixed. But again, the reality of it is that we're going to have a little bit of both. Let's hope the majority of it is growth, so it can continue to push us and propel us through the journey that we are supposed to be on while we're living, right? As opposed to holding ourselves back, getting in our own way, and really causing ourselves trouble that we really don't need. So, yeah, it's just, can you tell? I'm like so passionate. I am like, ooh. So the beliefs that someone with a fixed mindset has provides like a built-in excuse for why they can't or won't do something as well. If someone was going to be like, oh my gosh, I am just not a cook at all. And they get into a relationship and they're like, oh no, I'm not a cook. But the reason they're not a cook is because they either have never tried and they're fearful for how it will turn out, like negatively, or they have cooked before. Someone gave them negative feedback or something just didn't turn out. And now they've scared themselves away from actually trying again and think like, wow, okay, I have this bad thing happened. That means I'm done. This is the extent of me cooking because my abilities have run out, or some sort of thought process like that. It's like, again, essentially they get in their own way. And I know that a few months ago, I did do an episode talking about getting out of your own way, which that episode could be helpful too. But I feel like if you do like dabble hard into a fixed mindset, you are basically a professional of getting in your own way, and you probably don't even realize it, which is unfortunate. But I feel like a lot of times with mental health and mindset, there's a lot of things we don't realize we're doing that are getting in our own ways. And then we have to dive into what? Say it out loud with me. Self-awareness, and understand what's going on, what's lacking, what's going great, and what just needs a little bit of tweaking, and then go after those things, right? So, but unlike someone with a growth mindset that understands it's okay to struggle at first, because not everything is meant to be easy. People with a fixed mindset believe that if you don't do it well the first time or it doesn't come easy to you, then it's like not your talent at all. And this is minus doing any work towards actually trying. And then they just count it out and they're like, oh no, I'm good. Like I'm not a cook. Or, I am not someone that, I don't know, does some sort of activity, like whatever it is. I could never do math really well. I could never, do this type of job, right? I could never be a mom or whatever it is, right? It's just like they are just giving an excuse based either in fear or inexperience. Maybe a couple other things in there too. But yeah, it's just like you feel like, oh, it just needs to be easy. It just needs to be natural. It needs to be like these talents that pour out of you because it appears that way to other people because we spend a lot of time assuming we know things about how people gained and accomplished their goals and their successes and climbed to the top when we really don't know. We don't know the pain and the anguish and the struggle that someone else has gone through to get to where they are. We don't know. Even if there's someone online, like, a lot of people that we follow online, influencers, where they're literally like, oh yeah, I share my entire life. There's still pockets that we'll never know. There's still behind the scenes that they won't share. And that's fine. That's their right. Privacy is everyone's right. And so we have to understand that part of the reason why we are so stuck in a fixed mindset is because we're comparing our life to someone else's. Then if we don't stop that behavior, we're going to be stuck there for quite some time. So anyway, it's okay to struggle. It's absolutely okay to struggle and not be good at something from the get-go. So yeah, they see the value, in pushing themselves for the benefit of personal growth and accomplishment. Meaning those that engage in a growth mindset. You really know that pushing yourself and trying hard is worth it. It's not fruitless, It's not a hopeless endeavor. It's what we need to be doing. So today we are going to highlight the differences between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset so you're able to identify it in your own life and know what you need to work on. As always, this is not a conclusive list of examples or ideas for you to work off of. It is based on my own research, my own experience, other people's experiences, and all that. I would encourage you that if you feel like anything that I'm sharing does not fit you, but you still need help with this, to go to your bestie Google and type it in. Type fixed mindset versus growth mindset. You'll come up with so many charts and so many ideas, maybe things that will hit home a little bit closer, but I chose 8 examples that I feel like would apply to a lot of people and help us to really be able to understand and highlight and point out, oh my gosh, I am fixated more on a fixed mindset rather than a growth mindset. And then be able to understand like where you need to work on that. Also, I realized that in this episode, I'm not exactly showing you how to shift from fixed to growth. And I will do that next time for a next episode. Okay. So, which will come out a little bit later in the day than it normally does on Monday. If you're listening to this like right now, like right when it's released. But regardless, the next episode we'll talk about how to shift from fixed to growth so you can get the whole piece of knowledge. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Sometimes when I riff, I feel like it just comes out so smoothly. And then other times I'm like, where were you going with that, Sabrina? You were going nowhere. Okay, let's jump into, again, the examples so you're able to identify in your life. And again, there's nothing wrong with identifying places in your life where you struggle, where you need to do some work, some change needs to happen. You need to eliminate something. You need to add something in. You need to ask for help. Honestly, if you're able to do that more often and be vulnerable in that way, you will be able to overcome your setbacks much quicker. Much quicker. Okay, so the first one is, so growth, you would say, effort is seen as the way to success. But if you have a fixed mindset, you would say that effort is seen as useless. People with a fixed mindset are very focused on the fact that if you have to put effort into something, then it's not for you. You have to be able to do everything naturally. Unlike the growth mindset, where they know that there has to be work and effort put in for you to see the success that you desire. Okay. You can't just sit around and be like, it's just natural talent pouring out of my eyeballs and my pores. No, you got to do the work, and a lot of times when you have a fixed mindset, you're afraid of doing the work because it's outside of your control. You can only do what you can do. And then if it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, that sucks. That sucks. Lack of control can really suck. So just consider that. Growth, you like effort for success. Fixed, you don't. The next one, growth. It's important to keep going when faced with challenges. That's what someone with a growth mindset would say. Someone with a fixed mindset would be like, it's better to give up in the face of challenges. I laugh because it's just like, sometimes when I know these people in real life or even online friends, it really astounds me sometimes when people are like, oh no, there's a challenge, there's a struggle, we're going to retreat and not even come up with a plan on how to re-engage. Nope. We're just like, nope, it's too hard. There's too many things coming at us. It's not worth it. It should be easy for me. And I don't know if you're noticing, but a lot of people with a fixed mindset also kind of dabble in the victim mentality. Ooh. And I was actually just telling my therapist today, super random rant, not rant, just insert that victim mentality is probably one of my biggest pet peeves in people, even in myself. And I was telling him how I was kind of tiny bit leaning into that while I was on vacation, and I yelled at myself because I was like, we are absolutely not doing this. So anyway, so fixed mindset people that struggle with a fixed mindset tend to dabble into victim mentality, which is never where you want to be, my friends. Yes, sometimes we fall into these things, and that's totally fine as long as we recover and realize it, which is where self-awareness comes in. But if you live your life there and expect everyone else to be responsible for you, it's going to be a no for me, dog. It's going to be a no. Absolutely not. Growth, you keep going. When faced with challenges, fixed, you give up. You decide, I got to give up. Okay, next, someone with a growth mindset will think that feedback from others is important and helpful. Constructive criticism, really understanding, being open-minded, not being immediately defensive. Someone with a fixed mindset, though, will believe that criticism needs to be avoided so you don't look inadequate. You don't want someone to point out your flaws. You don't want someone to notice where your weak points are. You're going to be very defensive. You're like, absolutely not. You don't understand me. You don't see it the way that I see it. And you're just you're so focused on your own perspective, and you're like, no, this is what it is. And so you are fearful of getting feedback and criticism when you have a fixed mindset, but when you have a growth mindset, you're like, okay. And just because you get feedback and criticism you understand that. It doesn't mean that you have to believe and take in that stuff either. It's just you're open, you're flexible to it. You're like, okay, let me know, and I'll see what I can do with it. The next one is someone with a growth mindset would think that it's important to talk about uncomfortable and challenging things, or nothing will change. Like, you'll know that if you don't talk about these things and really figure it out, nothing will change. But someone with a fixed mindset will think that if we talk about these uncomfortable and challenging things, things might get worse. And I have to tell you that I kind of struggle with this, because anytime something is going really difficultly, I want to talk about it a little bit, but I don't want to talk about it a lot, because I know my tendency to just like have anxiety and worry and want to come up with like 101 plans, backup plans on what we're going to do after the worst case scenario happens, right? I'm sure I'm not alone in that. So I do struggle with this a little bit, a little bit regularly, because it's just so tough. But I know that, okay, if you actually get it all in the open, and it kind of like, brings down the level of fear and scary a little bit. It's not so overwhelming. And then you just talk about the challenges, and you can maybe get to a point where you can problem solve and figure out which way to go next. It's the most proactive way, and it actually has like really good action steps behind it. Okay, so the next one is someone with a growth mindset will think that you can learn and grow your skills, your abilities, your knowledge. But someone with a fixed mindset will think that everything comes natural and you are only capable of what you know now, or what you're taught as like a child. And like as every level you progress in school, it's like, okay, well, if you didn't learn it then you're just done. Like, you're only going to know that capacity of that thing, and that's it. And it's kind of sad, actually, because like, think about it. Like, think about yourself or anyone that you know that's like that, where they're like, oh, I don't naturally have the ability to cook or clean or come up with ideas for gifts or anything like that, right? And they're like, oh, that doesn't come natural to me. And so, they pass it by. They don't even give it an afterthought. It can also cause issues in like relationships and that kind of way. It's just sad. It's just sad when people are like, yep, that's it. That's all I have the capacity for, because it's not natural. It'd be different if you like really pushed yourself outside your comfort zone, and then you discovered like, okay, that is my capacity. We all have one. Then that's fair, because you're like, okay, you actually did the work and extended yourself. But when you're in a fixed mindset, you're like, oh no, if it's not just like easily happening for me, or I have the ability to do it right from the get-go, then no, it's not going to, you're immediately like, no, it's not going to work out. So again, growth, you can learn and grow skills at any time. Fixed, you're like, nope, if it doesn't come naturally, it's a nothing. The next one is growth would say, what I'm doing is really difficult, but I will figure it out with more practice and knowledge. But someone with a fixed mindset will say, what I'm doing is really difficult because I'm not smart enough and can't do this easily. And it's just, again, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because we all know people that are like, yeah, this is really hard because I'm just not smart enough. I feel like it's also playing the blame game, where you're like, well, it's because I'm not smart enough, and it's because it doesn't come natural, and it's because, this person didn't know my abilities, so now they're forcing me to embarrass myself and do this really difficult thing that I can't do. As opposed to someone with a growth mindset, which will be like, yeah, this sucks, this is tough, this is hard, but I'm going to figure it out. And all I need is to get some help. All I need is to try a little bit harder or longer. All I need is to like watch a YouTube video or learn more about it online, like doing the work to know that you can push through difficult things by finding out what you need to know next to proceed. Second to last one. So someone with a growth mindset would think that when I make mistakes or go through failures, I can learn from these experiences. But someone with a fixed mindset would think that if I make a mistake or fail, I will no longer be worthy or respected. So when you make a mistake, someone with a growth mindset is definitely leaning into the fact that, yeah, it's totally fine. You can glean every lesson from this experience, take it with you in the future, know what to figure out, what you need to do differently, or not do at all. Like, it's the thing that I preach all the time about how mistakes and failures are our best lessons. They are fantastic. But if you have a fixed mindset, yeah, you're like, no, once people know I've made mistakes and failures, they're not going to respect me. They're going to think I'm a hack. They're going to think I'm terrible. I'm not going to be worthy anymore, not worthy to myself, not worthy to other people that I love, that love me and care about me. I'm going to be worthless, and I'm going to have to start all over, and I don't want to start all over because I don't know how to do that. And so it's just like ongoing of like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it if you're in a fixed mindset. So mistakes and failures are really the best lessons, guys. They suck. The experience sucks, but it's so helpful. Okay, so the last one is someone with a growth mindset would think that other people's success inspires me. When you see someone else succeeding, accomplishing your goals, you're like, yeah, get it. You're awesome. But someone with a fixed mindset would think that they feel threatened when other people succeed. It's jealousy. It's envy. It's they're projecting their own insecure feelings onto this other person, being like, I can't believe that you accomplished this thing, or you did this. This is terrible. You probably cheated. You probably had someone do all the work for you, or oh my gosh, you neglected this, that, and the other in your life, or I should have done this first because of whatever stupid reason you want to come up with. I'm just being real. Like, this is honestly thoughts and things that people think about. And I wanted to make sure I put this one in as an example because it's so super important. Like, we should not be feeling threatened by other people's successes, even if we feel like we're kind of in like a little bit of a competition or a race with them, whether they know that or not. Because it's important to just realize that by them succeeding, you're like, okay, I see that they were able to get it done. And we are similar in these ways. So it kind of like reignites your fire and encourages you and motivates you to keep going. That's what I feel like would do. But I'm not going to lie to you. I struggle with this too. It's like, I feel like my immediate emotion that hits me when I see someone that accomplishes something that I had the desire to do, whether now or in the past, and they do it and I haven't done it, it's immediate jealousy. And I have trained myself to be like, I'll immediately be jealous. And then I'll be like, wait, no, there's no reason. No reason. Like, if you wanted to do that, you could do that. If you're in the middle of doing that, you just need to keep going. Like, they finished it. That means you could finish it, right? You have someone to look up to. You have someone to ask questions to now. They've been through it. They can give you advice. They can tell you like what direction you need to go, right? You have to see it as like an asset, as a positive, as opposed to being like, oh my gosh, like they took my spot. Now that they have success in this thing, I can't have success in this thing. Well, no one will care about me. They'll only care about them, or there's only room for one. Like, this is like negative fixed mindsets that keep people from trying to do things, from accomplishing their goals, from moving forward, and understanding that yes, most things are a saturated market, but no one can be like you. And no one can do it the way you do. And no one's going to have the personality that you do. And you're going to appeal to certain people in whatever it is. Even if it's just smiling at people on the street. So consider that. Other people's successes should inspire you, not make you feel threatened and weak and scared and less than. Absolutely not. But that's it. That's all 8 examples I have of what a growth mindset person would think and say versus what someone with a fixed mindset would think and say. And again, we are not just one or the other. There's definitely a mix in there, but I don't know. Everyone's balance is going to look different in it. And, maybe it is a true 50-50 balance, or maybe it's more 25-75, whatever way. That's for you to figure out. But in the next episode, I will talk about how you can start on your journey from going from a fixed mindset to a growth one. Now, I feel like you could get that knowledge basically by everything I told you, by understanding how to shift your mindset. But if you want a more direct way to do that with steps and tips, I will be back next episode talking all about that. But that's all I have for today. So thank you very much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast again with me, Sabrina. Thank you for downloading, sharing, listening to the show. You're absolutely fantastic. Don't forget to check out all the links in the show notes below. Come say hi to me on social media, sign up for the weekly newsletter, send me an email, submit a topic suggestion, do all the things. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.